So apparently the Fever just leaked their starting five. According to this graphic right,
the Indiana Fever may have just shaken up the WNBA in a big way. Elite starting lineup is making waves online, and for good reason. The rumored starters: Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Dana Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Aaliyah Boston. That's a powerhouse group. 2 former Rookies of the Year and 3 players on max contracts, all on the court together. It's looking like the Fever are building a super team. But the real surprise? Sophie Cunningham's reaction to being moved to the bench. Her response suggests something big. This team might have finally figured out how to build real championship chemistry.
Cunningham, the first player off the bench to provide lineup versatility and shooting. Either way, there are a lot of options.
So, what does this stacked lineup mean for the rest of the league? And how will the Fever keep things running smoothly with so many top-tier players sharing the floor? That's just the start of the conversation. Stick around. We're not only breaking down the starting 5, but also exploring the different lineups Indiana could use throughout the season. This isn't a team with just 5 strong players. The Fever have 9 legit starters, ready to rotate based on matchups. And that kind of depth should have the rest of the league on edge. And let's talk about Sophie Cunningham. She's not just accepting her new bench role, she's bringing the kind of energy and attitude that might be exactly what this team needs to take it all the way.
And yeah, this is apparently what it's going to be. Caitlin Clark at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, DeWanna Bonner at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
Let's start where all great stories begin, with Caitlin Clark. The rookie sensation is already changing the game. Her court vision is next level, and her shooting range, almost unreal. Teams around the league are catching on fast. If Clark's in the arena, you better start guarding her the second she steps on the floor.
Because in order for the Fever to achieve the goals that they have in front of them, everyone is going to need to buy into their role, and it's up to Stephanie White to put the best lineups out there, the best lineup combinations, and all of that. I took a stab at projecting what the starting 5 will be, and it's, not a huge leap, but obviously Caitlin Clark's going to be the point.
Right beside her is Kelsey Mitchell, a scoring powerhouse in her own right. She averaged nearly 20 points a game last season and is one of the toughest guards to defend in the league. Whether she's pulling up with a hand in her face or breaking down defenders off the dribble, Mitchell can get her shot off from just about anywhere.
Mitchell, the shooting guard, the most potent backcourt in the WNBA. I think DeWanna Bonner will be the Swiss Army knife kind of player at the
Next up is Dana Bonner, standing tall at 6'4" and bringing a rare blend of size, versatility, and playoff experience. She's a matchup problem for just about anyone, able to stretch the floor on offense and guard multiple positions on defense. Then there's Natasha Howard, a high-energy defender who thrives in transition and works the pick and roll like a pro. She brings grit and hustle to every possession, and holding it down in the paint is the 2023 Rookie of the Year, Aaliyah Boston. With sharp footwork, serious strength, and a high basketball IQ, she's already a dominant force under the basket.
Natasha Howard fills that hole that they had at power forward, especially they were lacking somebody who could run the floor, catch, and finish. Aaliyah Boston is the center who doesn't hunt for shots but can be a key cog on both.
This lineup runs like a well-tuned machine. Every player knows their role, and the chemistry just clicks. The floor spacing alone is enough to give opposing coaches headaches. Focus too much on Clark or Mitchell, and someone else is wide open. Collapse on Boston in the paint, and now you've got Clark, Bonner, Howard, and Mitchell all ready to hit shots from deep. The balance here is something special: scoring, spacing, defense, and experience all working together. It's a tough puzzle for any team to solve.
It was already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much you can.
And don't sleep on the connection between Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. These two have the potential to become one of the most dangerous young duos in the WNBA. Boston's smart screens and well-timed cuts, paired with Clark's precision passing, are already creating highlight reel moments. And they're just getting started. The chemistry is still new, but it already looks special. Even head coach Stephanie White has said it, this pair is laying the foundation for something that could be legendary.
When you think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they are going to go as the greatest. And I'm excited about the opportunity to work with them. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have to build from those starting points and build out, and for the longevity that those two could have in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and hanging banners in this building.
Last season, this projected starting five combined for over 80 points per game. And now, with Clark running the offense, those numbers could climb even higher. Teams like the Aces and Liberty should be paying attention. Las Vegas could struggle to hold the paint against Indiana's size, and New York's defensive rotations might not be quick enough to cover all the options this team brings. This isn't a rebuild anymore. Indiana's here to compete, and are coming for wins.
So I saw Sophie Cunningham talk about how she is thrilled to join a supporting role next to Caitlin Clark, and that she's playing on a stacked Fever.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Don't overlook the bench, especially Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull. Cunningham's reaction to not starting? All class. No complaints, no ego. Just focus, energy, and full support for her teammates. She's locked in and ready to contribute alongside Clark and the rest of the squad, no matter when she checks in.
I am really excited, and I didn't come here for the spotlight. I didn't come here to have more eyes. I came here to win. And I really do think that with the group that we have, that we are going to win. We are going to get achieved.
This kind of veteran maturity is hard to come by. We've seen plenty of big names struggle with accepting a reduced role. Take Allen Iverson, who didn't want to come off the bench and eventually left the game, or Carmelo Anthony, who faced similar challenges in Houston. But Sophie Cunningham, she's all in, no complaints, just a focus on what's best for the team. That mindset could be exactly what turns this squad into a real championship contender.
Kind of heard what they were doing, and of course you have Caitlin, who's drawn eyes from all around the world. That is like, why would I not? Why not be a part of something great? You go from Diana, and now you're going to a team who is going to be a contender for a championship. And so I'm stoked about this year. I'm really excited for the players, but I'm also excited just for the community and the relationship and the culture that you guys have.
Championship teams aren't just made of stars. They're made of players who understand their role and embrace it. That's exactly what Cunningham brings to the table. Her selflessness reflects a shift in Indiana's culture, one that values team success over individual stats. And that's the kind of attitude head coach Stephanie White needs to turn this stacked roster into a championship contender.
Sophie Cunningham, who I mentioned before, who I do think will be the first player off the bench because of all of the things she can bring to the team, where they can go small with her and spread the floor. I mean, you can go you could play Howard at center and Cunningham at the 4, something like that. Really space the floor out and give teams a different look. She can play a traditional spot on the wing, of course. And she has a little bit more, I think they're listed at the same height, but she has a little bit more length and size, I believe, than Lexi Hull. And that's, another shooter out on.
We're going to be a phenomenal group. I'm excited for all the other pieces that came in this offseason with me. And so when I really see what I can do here, I'm confident in that, but I really am just excited for the big picture of what everyone brings to this team.
And then there's Lexi Hull, who was relied upon a little bit too much a season ago. Lexi's a little undersized to guard some of the players that she had to guard and would get in foul trouble. And when she got in foul trouble, it was really debilitating for the team. Now I think she can bring that energy all the time and not have to worry about the foul trouble because of the lineup versatility that they have. For Lexi, the key is, can she continue to hit at the clip from 3 that she did the second half of last season? And she's got to get better at finishing around the cup. I mean, that's an area of, I think we've seen a lot of Brianna Turner working out with the team. I think her ability to set screens, hopefully catch and finish, could give her some minutes, because Aaliyah Boston really the only kind of what you would consider a center on the squad at this moment. Colson maybe plays a little bit more than we figured, because Clark will get spelled a bit more often this season, I would imagine. I also could see some Clark Colson 2-guard lineups out there at times to let Clark play off the ball a little bit more, to let Colson apply defensive pressure. See Clark in motion more this year to free her up for cleaner looks. Clark's 3-point percentage was not probably where it needed to be. I think one way to get that up is to get her cleaner looks off the ball at times, though she should still have the ball the lion's share of the time. What they really did do is add those rim runners.
I also want our players to use their instincts and to play free. You know, we want to make plays, not run plays, right? We want to have sets that give us certain spacing that we want, depending upon our rotations, who's on the floor, who we want to attack, what matchups we want to get to, how can we manipulate them. So we'll have certain play calls that just give us space to operate, and then whichever play we make, whichever pass we make, determines, you know, one of three actions that our players can read from. And so really giving them the freedom to play within a system.
And then, of course, you know, when you have more weapons, a lot of people are worried. I don't think they have players who need the ball to score, but they have more players who can score, which is going to make it tougher to load up. It was already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much you can do. And then Clark, the same thing. What are you going to do now? You're going to have to pick your poison. Because you're going to send the whole defense at her again? Well, she's going to pick you apart. You know, they have 5 players who are in the top 30 in scoring. The people really needed last year, they got killed on the boards at times. They got killed defensively at times. They lacked a little bit of toughness and oomph. And I think, you know, collectively, the new players fill that mold. I mean, they got players that have been around the block. You know, Sophie is tough and tenacious. You know that DeWanna Bonner has been in every situation imaginable, right? So all of that is huge. Same with Howard. You know, that experience, that's something Sydney Colson talked about, who also has the experience. Everybody that's coming in is having the experience, and it's not often you see such a drastic overview. I basically said there were 4 reliable players in Clark, Mitchell, Boston, and Hull. Everybody around that has been reconfigured, and the coach. And, you know, the coach has familiarity with Bonner. She also has familiarity with how to guard Caitlin.
Now, as much as the starting 5 is pretty much dead set right now, I could potentially see one of Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Hull maybe breaking into that starting lineup. I could see that happening at different stages.